right, we're about to start in about a minute. Thank you all for joining today. Make sure we got everything all set up here. We're at 200, I believe it's 87 days. 287 days to go until the start of the 2026 World Cup. 12 days, I think, to the start of the application process for these tickets, which wish we had more to talk about. Wish we had a lot more to talk about, but we don't. Okay, let's get started right now. Dime mi gente, ¿cómo están? ¿Cómo están? Muchas gracias por su sintonía. Travel football fan here, helping fans save money and travel the 2026 FIFA World Cup. With 287 days to go until the start of this tournament, and we still do not have any major updates regarding the ticket buying process. The same 6 questions are in the FIFA FAQ for tickets at this time. So, not much has changed, unfortunately. Not much has changed at all. Saludos desde Dallas, Texas. Saludos. ¿Cómo está mi gente? Yo hablo aquí en inglés y en español, entonces cualquier información, cualquier pregunta que tienen ustedes, pues por favor me lo ponen en el chat. Este va a ser solamente un live de YouTube exclusivamente. No estoy en TikTok ni estoy en Instagram. Only gonna be a YouTube and it's gonna be only a YouTube live only, nothing else. As you can see on your screen, I do have some additional little features here that I'm messing around with. Let me know if they look nice or not. If they don't look nice, I'll remove them for the next live. I'm just looking to enhance the visual quality of the lives. If they don't look cool at all, more than happy to remove them. Just go ahead and let me know in the chat or in the comments after this live. But as of today, 287 days to go. The newsletter went out earlier today. So if you're not in that newsletter, it's a really just small, neat newsletter. It just has additional travel and World Cup stories that I don't otherwise cover in videos because they're just such niche topics that it gets barely any views. And so then I just don't want to, put in additional effort to cover those. But having said that, they're still good for you to know. Go ahead and register for that free newsletter. There's nothing wrong. There's no cost to you. Serves as just an additional reminder for you to check out the content that is paid. Of course, your viewing here on YouTube is paid. All other content, of course, on TikTok especially, the views are paid. But then, of course, if you need to sign up for a consultation or anything else, you can go ahead and do that, okay? So, where are we? Same spot as we were last week, which is frustrating. It is extremely frustrating at this point. So what I wanted to more focus on today was talk about more the pathway that we have coming up for the rest of this year. Because I think it's an important, it's a good opportunity to take stock of where we're at in this timeline for 2026. What do we have coming up, okay? And what we need to what we need to consider as we look forward again for these next couple of months, okay? Let me go ahead. I should have quickly looked up a 2025 calendar that we can just, kind of take a look at here. But the reason why we want to do this is because we want to be able to visualize this last quarter of the year, okay? Because we have a lot of things that are incoming, and I just want to make sure that you folks are ready to go for anything and everything that does come along, okay? So, I'll answer questions as well as we roll in. So, what is the best fan festival park for this tournament? I think everyone's going to have a different opinion on this. And again, if you want more information about these, fan festivals, you can go to my website, travelfootballfan.com. At the bottom, I have a list of the fan festival sites link. Which there you go. You have the information there regarding the fan festivals. I believe the Mexico ones are free. I probably should update this. I want to say they're free, but I just want to hold off and confirming that. But yeah, I think everyone's going to have a different flavor of the fan festivals compared to everybody else. So just keep that in mind. as you kind of consider things. But of course, the Mexico ones are going to be fantastic. I mean, I was in Monterrey, and the level of attention that they're putting towards the fan festival is impressive to say the least. So that might be something that you might want to consider. Okay, so we're on August 28th. We only got 4 months left of this year, which is crazy to think about. We're 287 days away from June 11, 2026. And so what do we have here in this calendar? Okay, what do we have remaining? Well, the ticket sales is the biggest thing. And of course, in December, we have the draw. We finalize the schedule in December, or at least that's the aim. And then we go in 2026, almost pretty much ready to go, ready to know where we're traveling, on what days, and thus pretty much all your money is just going to be spent in that month of December and into January. Okay, but what do we need to do to prepare ourselves moving forward from September on out? Okay, so remember, folks, that from now until September 9, we are basically preparing for application. Of course, what we don't know is the prices of the tickets. We don't know which games are going to be made available in this application. Can we request for the final? Can we request for the inaugural? Can we request for the home nations? Is there going to be a team series or follow your team, which I think there would be? We don't know those aspects of the application. What we do know is that we are going to be able to apply from September 10, okay, all the way to September 19. Okay, so it doesn't matter when in that range you're gonna submit your application. It just, all that matters is you submit your application between the 10th and the 19th. Okay, does not matter which day, does not matter what time of day. Just submit the application. Everyone in your family group 18 and over that is able to buy tickets should apply, because your application might be partially rejected, and your other person in your family group can also have their application partially rejected, but then you all might end up getting all the tickets that you want for the games that you want. We don't know how many tickets you can request, okay? And again, we don't know the price, right? I feel like we're going to come back to that one because, just simply put, we just do not know the prices, okay? All right. Gianni did say 104 matches are available in the White House press conference. In relation to the application, all right. Well, if that's what Gianni said, then that's what we're going to be dealing with. Although, granted, Gianni also did say that we were going to have the draw in Vegas, and then Trump called him, and then we didn't have the draw, right? So, but if Gianni did say that, I did not catch the whole press conference because, as you can imagine, I'm not going to sit there and watch the bromance increasing by the minute. Por eso veo una telenovela, ¿no? Pues, ¿qué carajo? Then fine. Then that means then all 104 games will be made available. I probably should make a video about that then. That is kind of annoying that he said that in a Trump press conference, but all right, I'll have to go ahead and go back to it. Thank you, Daniel, for that heads up there. Are FIFA World Cup tickets allowed to be resold for a high price? You shouldn't be. You might risk having the attorneys sue you. Okay? Look, my suggestion is this. Don't deal with the resellers, because they're going to charge 3, 5, 10 times the price of the face value of these tickets. From a financial literacy standpoint, that is a bad deal for you. I cannot stress that enough, how much of a bad deal that is for you. So I highly recommend, resellers don't exist. For this World Cup, resellers do not exist. Because that is going to be a very bad financial decision that you're going to make. All right? It's on his Instagram post if you don't want to watch his press conference. Fantastic, Daniel. I'm going to make a note of that. Gianni IG. All 104 games available. Cool. Thank you so much. I just don't want to hear stupidity. That's all. I want to make best use of my time. So I really appreciate that. Thank you, Daniel. Muchas gracias. Muchas gracias, compa. Muchas gracias. All right. I'll probably make a video about that afterwards. Hopefully it makes me a ton of money on the views. Bueno, pa'lante vamos. Forget the resellers. Just, look, if you don't get tickets for this World Cup, which is totally possible, don't get them. Wait for 2030. I know, que, tomorrow's not granted and everything. I understand that. But, ¿para qué tener dolor de cabeza en deuda? ¿Para qué tener dolor de cabeza con tu esposa, tu esposo? Like, que gastaste toda esa plata for a game. Your kids need the money. Your retirement fund needs the money. Like, we gotta be strategic, right? Like, I want to go to a bunch of games too, but I understand. I got a family, I got a wife, I got a house to pay. Like, I gotta take care of the home. So let's not deal with resellers. Let's. You know what? As much as we complain about resellers, the only reason why resellers exist are two reasons. One, they lobby the out of congressional members here in the United States to be able to be doing all the shady shit they do. And second, us. We give them money. So that's what happens. Okay, what's the best way to get a visa for anyone? You mean a Visa credit card, not a travel visa, but the Visa credit card. Or how about a bank account or like the gift prepaid card? So you can use a prepaid card, right? As again, we'll come back to this to the timeline in a minute. Okay, I really want to focus on the timeline here. Actually, it was over here. But folks, remember you can use a credit, debit, or reloadable Visa prepaid card. Okay, and I did create I did create a separate video on my YouTube channel, which does discuss the different Visa credit cards that you can consider. So I highly recommend you watch that for options for you to pretty much be able to determine which is the best Visa credit card or debit card for you. Time is running out though. I highly recommend that if you're going to apply for something, you go ahead and apply for it as soon as you can. I know my wife and I, we got in the mail incoming the new Alaska Airlines Atmos Summit credit card, which is going to be fantastic for us because then we're going to put our World Cup spend on that and then get those, I think it's 100,000 Alaska miles. Oh man, that's going to be fantastic for us to use for our World Cup travels. So yeah. Okay, let me get back to this timeline and I'll answer some additional questions in a minute here. So again, using the roadmap that Seattle offered us earlier in the year, they did get it right that the ticket sales were going to be in October. The application opened September, but they were in effect correct that the ticket sales are going to happen in October because remember, we are applying for tickets in September, right? But we're not going to be able to buy anything until October when FIFA notifies us via email, hey, this is the day and the time that you can go in and buy whatever tickets we have allowed you to buy, okay? So again, between now, right, whenever you're watching this, it's September 9, you are preparing for the application even though we barely have any information. Keep following me on all socials. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, go ahead and do so right now, all right? Go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel right now. And follow me on all other socials. I know your phone is available probably because you're probably watching on desktop. Follow me on all other socials so that way you are notified in any way, shape, or form of any new information that we get, okay? September 10th begins the application, okay? I aim to create a YouTube video that will have all the information you need on September 10th, so in that way you have the whole 9 days to rewatch my YouTube video and then apply for whatever tickets you need. I hope to have all your questions answered on that YouTube video September 10th. If I can do a live stream, I'll do a live stream. Okay? September 10th through the 19th, you are applying. Okay? You submit your application. You have your other members of your family submit their application. Boom, bada bing, bada boom. We're done. Awesome. Then between September 20th, so you can see here on the calendar, it's a Saturday through the 30th, we are waiting for FIFA. So it gives you another 10 days to save up more money. Okay? And then beginning September 30th, FIFA will be notifying us, hey, you will be able to start buying your tickets to these games that we've approved for you in October. On a date and time, they will tell you. So that is how September looks like. Okay? That is what September looks like. All right? Apple Pay is Visa. You can use that too. Sure, you can, but I'm trying to obviously help you get travel rewards, points, or cash back. Um, Everything was going on in the country. Better way. Look, man. I've always been very open about what's going on with the World Cup and everything in this country. Everyone's got to assess the risk as to like if they're going to come to this country or not. You got to assess the risk. I think these events will be generally safe because the government's going to pour all the resources. Okay, they're going to pour all the resources to ensure that these events are safe. But is the rest of the country safe? Is the rest of the country, a good place to go or not? Again, personal assessment at that point. Okay, so yeah. I did do a video on not so much the reloadable prepaid cards because again, I don't consider those good financial products in the sense that you can't get cash back or travel points and miles. Okay, but go watch that video. It's on my YouTube. Okay, I think I did it as a live. Wasn't didn't have too many views at the beginning, but I'm sure people are going to be looking into it more and more as we get closer. But remember, you got to give yourself at least a couple of weeks, at least a week, to be able to receive that new card in the mail, just in case. Okay. How many games am I planning to attend? I don't know. I want to at least follow Colombia, at least go to some games in Mexico. Okay. Are you able to apply more than once during the application process? I'm assuming we're going to be able to submit multiple applications for yourself. That I would assume that you cannot do. Okay. But that's why they're giving you 9 days to submit your own application. That's why if you have, like, for example, myself and my wife would apply, I would apply. Because the idea is that my application might either get rejected or partially rejected. My wife might be fully accepted. Right? So there we'll be able to balance out who gets which tickets and then we buy accordingly. Okay? So that's how that might work, if that makes sense. Okay? Hopefully that makes sense. Okay. Okay. So beginning no earlier than September 30th, okay, FIFA's gonna start notifying us, all right, you're gonna be able to buy tickets on this day at this time. That's your window. Okay? That is your window to go in and purchase your tickets. So basically, throughout October, everyone is buying tickets. Okay? That is when you are buying tickets, in October. All right? And again, this was confirmed earlier in the year by the Seattle World Cup host committee. Okay? It was confirmed by the Seattle World Cup host committee that we were going to buy in October. Now, the key question is this, right? And these are some questions that we don't know. When does phase 1 end? We don't know. Okay? We don't know when phase 1 ends. Okay? We don't know. So it might be that the entire month of October we're buying tickets. Okay? It might be part of October we're buying tickets. We do not know. Okay? 2. When does phase 2 begin? Because according to Gabriela Cuevas, Mexico's representative of FIFA, she said that the second phase, which we're assuming is an open sales phase, first come, first serve, that is going to start October, November. Now, if we take that piece of information, right, and we look up the World Cup qualifiers, not World Cup questions, World Cup qualifiers. Why can I not spell today, chat? I don't know why I cannot spell, chat. Okay, can I get the wiki? Thank you. The wiki sometimes just makes things easy, okay? If we look at the Wikipedia for the next rounds and stuff, okay, we got Asia that will play their matches October 8th, okay? And they're supposed to be done by November, if I'm not mistaken, because then it's basically whoever wins these two groups will go through, okay? Very interesting that Qatar and Saudi Arabia are struggling to make it. They're completely struggling. I think it's going to be fifth round. fourth round group runners up will compete in a two-legged playoff. So the 6 teams that will advance into 2 groups of 3, the winners will qualify for the World Cup, and the runners-up will advance to the 5th round. So basically, whoever wins these 2 groups advances, and then these 2, whoever finishes second place, goes on a playoff, and then they go on to the Intercontinental Playoff. Yes, the Asian representation to the Interconfederation Playoff. Cool. So that's gonna be October, November. That wraps up. Okay, that's this is gonna wrap up sometime December. Excuse me, October, November. Okay. Africa is gonna wrap up in November. Okay, so Africa wraps up November. All right. CONMEBOL wraps up November, and so does UEFA. Wraps up November. So in the next 3 months, we're gonna see a flurry. We're gonna see a flurry of matches from CONMEBOL, Asia, Africa, Europe, blitzing through to get to the end, which is gonna be the midpoint November. I think is when those qualifiers finally finish. So phase 2 could also happen end of October through November before the draw. Which, again, for y'all, yeah. Although phase 2 second week of December after the draw, unconfirmed though, but it does line up with past World Cup having phase 2 start the week after the draw. It's possible, but I do remember that with Qatar, I believe there was the second phase. They did start a second phase before the draw. Because I know I bought that in that second phase. And I know I bought a blind ticket, right? A ticket to a game. I didn't know who was going to be playing in it. So it is possible, because again, if those reports by Gabriela Cuevas, that phase 2 might happen in November before the draw. And so again, we're in this spot where we don't know where the teams are playing. Okay? So be ready throughout October and November for a potential phase 2, although Daniel, you might be right as well, that phase 2 could also start in December after the draw. But from what was in the previous World Cup, phase 2 started before. Okay? Now, we go in then into December. Okay? So if we now move to December, right, we know December 5th is the draw here in Washington, D.C. Okay? So now we know the draw itself. That weekend, right, we're going to know, we know everything, basically, right? We know where our teams are playing, when they're playing. So now booking your travel is going to be extremely important on that weekend of December 5th, December 6th, December 7th, December 8th. It's going to be extremely important for you to be ready to go booking your travel. Because now the clock counts down towards 26, right? Towards June 11. And the longer you wait to book your travel, it's going to get much, much more expensive. Hell, there might not even be anything available for you to buy to begin with. Okay? So that is pretty much a summary of the timeline that you have for this year, for 2025. Okay? That is the timeline that we have. Okay, so it's possible that we might already have 2 phases before the draw, or maybe this phase 2 it starts before the draw and ends after the draw, or we might even have a phase 3 that begins right at the end of December, right in time for Christmas. Might start right in time for Christmas, chat. So that is the possibilities. Okay, that is what you have to expect. Okay. So October might be the start for many of you to start buying tickets, or many of you might skip, even though I don't highly recommend it, you might skip the first phase and wait to know where your teams are playing, then you will buy the tickets accordingly. Might be a good strategy for those that only want to go to a game or two to a specific team, then fine, you'll wait. But the phase 1 is perfect to apply for tickets that you don't care who's playing in those games. So, for example, in your city, or if you're looking to go for a knockout round type of match, or for the inaugural, or for the final. Okay? So there's pros and cons to when to enter this process of the World Cup ticket buying process. Okay? So that is that. questions on the timeline. Because that's basically what we have, if you may, to that draw itself on December 5th. Okay? So just mark it in your calendar, save the date. We might be able to do a live show as well. So for those of you that live in the DMV area, just mark it in your calendars, December 5th. I think the draw begins at noon. We're trying to create an alternative broadcast because, yeah, I know those speeches are going to be mad boring by these people, okay? So, yeah. we just want to make sure that, we provide an alternative viewing experience, right? That is not filled with trompitos speaking half the damn time. So, that's what we aim to do on December the 5th of this year as well. All right? Okay. Questions on the timeline? Go ahead, drop them in the chat. Again, the Seattle was right on that regard. So shout outs to Seattle for pretty much calling, for basically calling the timeline correct, because that's exactly what ended up happening. But yeah, that is where we're at. You're dropping World Cup draw. What about Champions League draw? Okay, let's talk about that for 2 seconds. I'm totally cool with talking about the Champions League draw. Like that, Real Madrid. All right, happy to talk about Champions League draw. Why not? Let's talk about it. All right, because I think we did our chat for the World Cup. This Champions League draw is insane to me for Real Madrid. I thought that was the funniest one. Shout outs to Almaty. Hold on, did they give the full? Ah, man, I hate when they just do that as opposed to just give me like the full. Give me a graphic. I like the graphics better. Okay, maybe this is. Okay, maybe that's a little too crazy, but you know what? We might have to go with this. Really? Okay. Yo, the fact that Almaty, Kazakhstan landed the gold mine of hosting Real Madrid is the funniest shit ever, man. Almaty, Kazakhstan is hosting Real Madrid. Who in their wildest dreams did they expect that? Look at Kairat Almaty, bro. Real Madrid got to go to Kairat Almaty in Kazakhstan. Man, I don't even think Emirates flies to Almaty. That's how freaking crazy that trip is going to be for them. Insanity. Absolute insanity. All right? No news, kind of quickly coming back to the World Cup. No news, unfortunately, on ticket prices. If they're going to be released before September 10. According to my sources, they're going to be released on September 10. If I'm able to get one of my sources to spill the beans on the price, you'll be the first ones to know. Okay, I will have everything ready to go. Okay, and again, yeah. So that's that. Okay, but yeah, Real Madrid. I mean, granted, they have to host Manchester City, bro. Manchester City's gonna get screwed up again. Interesting that they're hosting 2 French teams. I did see that as a bit interesting. But this is not an easy schedule for Real Madrid travel-wise, because then to have to go to Olympiacos and Kairat Almaty, I'm telling you, those are some crazy travel miles that they're putting on that Emirates jet. Manchester City, not that difficult. I thought Bodo Glimt. I thought Spurs were playing Bodo Glimt. Wasn't Spurs playing Bodo Glimt? Is Spurs a pot 2 team? Was Spurs a... Yeah, sorry. I thought... Oh, or maybe both of them play Bodo Glimt. Okay, got it. Let me see here. Any other crazy travel stories for any of these teams? Maybe Chelsea go to Karabakh and Azerbaijan. That's a bit of a travel there for that team. Liverpool having to go to Galatasaray. I mean, that's going to Turkey. That's not too bad. Bayern Munich having to go to Pafos. I think Pafos is the Cypriot team. That's a little bit crazy just because seeing Bayern Munich go over there. I would say this is kind of like a win for the local fans for sure, but that team's going to get smashed. But again, the main one, I think Kairat Almaty hitting the jackpot. Now you're going to see a bunch of people wanting to fly to Kazakhstan for that trip. Like, there's just no way in hell you're not going to have people not wanting to go to Kazakhstan for that trip. So I find that very fascinating, that in of itself. Let's see here. Pot 2 teams. Not really too much crazy-ass traveling. I mean, Galatasaray Atletico Madrid is not that crazy. Yeah, Villarreal to Pafos maybe, but not really too bad. Frankfurt to Karabag. I mean, Azerbaijan is becoming a hotbed of sports anyway, so yeah. And Club Bruges having to go to Kairat Almaty? All right. Well, the other team's got to go to Kairat Almaty. I guess that's the only other question. Because then that means we'll just look at Kairat Almaty for a second. But shout out to Spurs. We got Dortmund. That's a tough game. Away to PSG is definitely a tough game. We need a bit of a revenge game, but I don't know if we're going to get the points there against PSG away. But having said that, Eintracht Frankfurt, that's a tough game. Bodo Glimt, Monaco. I mean, this isn't an easy schedule for Spurs. Maybe these are wins here, maybe, but and that they should be able to beat Bodo Glimt because we did last year too in our Europa League run. But these are some difficult away matches for sure. Let's see the pot four teams. Monaco has to go to Paphos. I mean, yeah. What is Kairat? So they're hosting Olympiacos and Paphos, which this is a bit of a gimme for Kairat Almaty considering, right? Paphos, that could be interesting. But they do have a brutal away. I mean, to fly all the way to having to fly to Italy, England, Portugal, and then Denmark, that is a brutal away schedule. So, no, very, very interesting draw there for the Champions League, to say the least. Okay? So, yeah. All right. I think we'll go ahead and end the live here unless we have any other questions regarding the World Cup itself. Just wanted to quickly shout out the Champions League draw travel results there because it is going to be very interesting, to say the least. But again, folks, the next 4 months is going to be very critical for you in terms of your money, in terms of your approach with your credit cards and everything moving forward. Okay, make sure to try to take advantage of this upcoming spend that you're gonna have. Okay, with a travel rewards credit card or with a cashback credit card that's gonna be able to give you some points back on that purchase because these are going to be expected big purchases. Try to get those points and miles. Try to get that cash back. So in that way, you can go ahead and benefit financially from this very big purchase. Okay? You have 4 months, or rather, this is what we're going to be looking forward to in 4 months' time. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Final questions here. That Miami win in the Florida Derby hit different? Absolutely. Messi with the comeback. Bye-bye, Mickey Mouse. Yeah, there won't be a lot of Colombian tourists for the World Cup. I know you posted a short about it earlier today. Yes, because unfortunately the U.S. government has been doing that on purpose. They've been wanting to restrict the visas for Colombian nationals to come to the U.S. just for general tourism in general. So I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised that is indeed the case that is happening. So basically, Colombians in the U.S. will have to basically pick up the slack. We will be there for our teams. But it is sad that, los colombianos de casa pues no van a poder venir aquí a este mundial. Best resource for anything Visa. Again, as I mentioned, I did create another live discussing the various Visa credit cards. I believe it's a live, or I might have converted it to a video. But discussing the various Visa credit card, debit card products that they offer. So please go check that video out. It is way too much information for me to spell out right here at this time. And again, I encourage all of you to go check out all my other videos, go check out all my other content. Again, it's a bit of a programming note. I'm going to be hosting the Travel Football Fan Show Tuesdays and Thursdays at 2 p.m. Eastern. I'm going to be hosting my World Cup 26 office hours on Instagram, 11 a.m. on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and on 1 p.m. on TikTok, again, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. That way, that helps me keep myself organized with my lives. I'm not doing it at random times, and I'm really going to commit to keeping to those times. I'm going to try to put, other things around that schedule. So in that way, I am just consistently showing up same times, and then you folks can, log in at whichever point makes sense for you. Rumores that might do a 2-payment plan due to high prices. Have you heard anything? Not about payment plans. It'll be kind of weird for you to set up for a payment plan only because, the concern I have about payment plans in general is that you sign up for it and then you don't pay it. That's the problem. If you set yourself up properly, sure, that might help you out. But that is my biggest concern, to say the least. Okay? What about those Colombians, for example, who are not U.S. citizens but live in the U.S.? Will they be able to travel to another U.S.? They might be able to, but again, for those that are Colombians that are not U.S. citizens, just exercise extreme caution because unfortunately we are living in times where the ICE goons are going around kidnapping people. So Please travel in groups and please exercise extreme caution when you're driving through certain parts of the country. Even though here in DC we're dealing with all the ice goonery, as you can imagine, every single day. It's become an unfortunate reality of our lives here in the DMV community. But yeah, all right. I think with that, we'll go ahead and end the live. Again, thank you so much, folks. Make sure, again, you're following me in all socials. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. Make sure you comment on the video, like the video, click on the bell button so that way you're notified of when I produce the next video. Although, again, I'm looking to host those lives at those times, and I am also looking to create more quote-unquote set piece videos, more informative videos, that will hopefully, what is this? Full of soul. Okay. I'm trying this new background, but I'm not have been the biggest fan of it. But let me know in the comments if you're a big fan of the little chat box here, if you were able to see it or not. And then we'll go from there. But yeah, folks, again, thank you. Make sure you just subscribe everywhere across my other socials. Visit my website. You want to book that consultation, and we'll go ahead and take it from there. Again, folks, thank you so much for your time.